It's the Mac Daddy here. This is the Secrets of the Mac Machine Guns video again. And in this video, I'm gonna compare a M11 380 open bolt semi-automatic pistol with an M11 machine gun. Now, I don't have an M11 380 machine gun, but I do have an M11 9 machine gun. And the internals, the fire control group is identical between these two particular guns. What happened is that a guy by the name of Wayne Daniels, he had a company called SWD Incorporated, and he came out with a 9mm version of the 380 M11 machine gun. He called it the M11 9, and basically what he did is he stretched the receiver and put a heavier bolt assembly in it with a longer stroke, so that would handle the extra power of the 9mm over the 380. And you can see here the difference in the two guns. This is an M11 380, and this is the M11 9. You can see how much longer the receiver is here. Okay. Now, one of the main differences between the semi-auto pistol version and the machine gun is the machine gun has a stock. This semi-auto pistol doesn't have a stock because it's a pistol. If it had a stock, it would be a short-barreled rifle and would have to go through the same garbage, NFA garbage, as the machine guns used to. If you look at the back plate here, there's no cutouts for a stock to go through. There's also no stock button here. The button for to release and lock in the stock, that's all missing. And here you have the machine gun. You have the cutouts for the stock, and you have the stock release button right here. So you can see the difference there. There's no provision here for a stock because of the pistol. The other big difference is that this particular gun, since it's a semi-auto pistol, semi-auto, it has to be set so it'll only shoot semi-auto. And when the ATF approved this gun around 1979, the ATF had to make sure that this gun was difficult to convert to a machine gun. Okay, I said in another video that later on in 1982 they changed their mind and they decided that it was easy enough to convert to a machine gun for them to classify it as machine gun. But since these guns have already been manufactured and they had already approved them before, all of the guns that had already been manufactured and sold, they were grandfathered in. Okay, so I'm going to start taking this thing apart, and I'm going to show you the workings on this and how they got away with. I want to show you how the RPB got away with selling this gun as a semi-auto pistol, what they had to do to make sure that it was harder to convert. The first thing you notice with these two pistols is the machine gun's got a selector on it. You see that? The pistol, the semi-auto pistol's got no selector. There's no hole here for the selector. That's the main reason why this gun the ATF considered this gun difficult to convert to a machine gun. Now, if you look at this, you'll see this guy here is your sear. This little guy over here is your trip lever. And the trip lever, if you look at it, as you go from semi-automatic to full automatic, it goes up and down, this trip lever here. This trip lever goes down here to your trigger, and off the trigger you have what you call a disconnector. Okay, when you're in semi-automatic, what'll happen is that you pull the trigger, the sear goes down, it releases your bolt, and the gun will fire. It'll keep cycling. If it's in full auto, it'll keep cycling until you release the trigger, and that sear pops up. What happens is when you're in semi-auto, you got this trip lever pushing up here. When the bolt goes forward, when you pull the trigger to fire it, the bolt goes down, it pushes down on this trip lever, it pushes down, it pushes on the disconnector slips off of the sear and makes the sear pop up. So the gun will fire once, when the bolt slides back, it'll get caught on the sear again, semi-auto. then you have to release, when you release the trigger, the disconnector will reconnect with the sear and reset itself. Once again, you fire it, the bolt goes forward, pushes down on this trip lever. See how that sear pops up? That's how it works. When you're in full auto, that trip lever drops down. So when the bolt goes forward, it doesn't push that trip lever down. So so that sear will stay down until you release the trigger. See that? That's how it works. That's simple. You also have a safety here that slides. When you put it on safe, it puts a block underneath that sear, and it keeps that sear from dropping down and releasing the bolt. That's how the safety works. Now look at this gun right here. Where's my pen? It's all the same thing. You got your sear, same kind of sear. You got your trip lever right here, same kind of trip lever. You got your disconnector, same parts, same parts. But there's no selector. So this trip lever is always in the down position. Excuse me, it's always in the up position on semi-auto. See? The bolt comes forward, reset. This trip lever is always set in the semi-auto position. And since there's no selector over here, you cannot change it. In fact, the whole fire control group sits in its own little tray. And that tray is put in the receiver and tack welded in. So if you want to change this gun into a machine gun, a select fire machine gun like the original M11 380 or M11 9 here, you'd have to drill a hole for your selector. And that's difficult because you'd have to pop out this whole tray out here. You'd have to drill your hole and get yourself a selector and put all your parts together again. That's a pain in the butt. But like I said, there's another way to do it. That'll take you maybe 15 minutes, maybe a couple of minutes if you have a Dremel tool. And that's what the thugs and the crooks found out. You know, the gang members in Miami, they found out about that. Now, I don't want to show you how they did it because I don't want to get in no trouble. One guy is in jail now because he sold a piece of flat steel that had a drawing on it. And the government convinced the jury that drawing was a machine gun. So knowledge now can get you in jail. So you see the differences in how they got away at the time with doing that, with saying this is a semi-auto pistol. Now you want to look close here. Whoops. Here's a 380 bolt assembly. .380 bolt assembly, 9mm bolt assembly. You see the difference? It's because 9mm is a lot more powerful than 380. Now this particular bolt is the same size as the original M11 9 bolt, but this particular bolt is made out of solid tungsten, so it weighs about a good 4 times as much as this does, and about twice as much as a regular M11 9 bolt weighs. So it'll get the cyclic rate of this machine gun M11 9 down to about 600 rounds a minute, which I think is right in the sweet spot. So you see the difference in the guns. Now, this bolt assembly is also exactly is the same as an M11 380 machine gun. Like I said, the only difference between the semi-automatic pistols and the machine guns is no provision for a stock because it's a pistol. And instead of having a sear pin selector that would make the gun selective fire, it has the whole fire control group and its own little tray that's welded into the gun. That's what makes it difficult at the time to convert to a machine gun. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you what to look for if you're going to buy one of these guns. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I see. All right, okay. If you're going to buy an M11 or an M10 open bolt semi-pistol, I'm going to show you the things to look for. Once again, right here, this right here is your trip lever. Okay? If you're going to buy one of these guns, the first thing you want to look for is is there any filing or any modifications done to the end of this part. If you see any file marks or any kind of changes on this part right here, this trip lever, run. Don't walk. Run away. Okay? This cannot be touched right here. Your bolt assembly. If you see right here, if you see that a notch has been cut out of this or filed out of this, any kind of file work over here, run. Don't walk. Run away from purchasing this gun, okay? Because any modifications there or those two places can get you thrown in jail for a machine gun. I'm just telling you. I'm going to show you the way to tell real quick if this is if it's been modified. Oops, wrong bolt. Okay. This one here. All right. With the bolt forward, just pull the trigger. You hear that? That is the sound of the disconnector falling off of the sear. That means this gun is set for semi-auto. If you don't hear that clicking noise, then that means it's probably been converted. Of course, the easiest way is to just cock the gun, pull and hold the trigger, pull it back again. It should cock open, should lock open, release the trigger, pull it again. This gun is semi-automatic. It's set for semi-automatic. But like I said, check those two parts and make sure no one's been filing on them. Because even if the government sees that either of those parts have been tinkered with at all, they could charge you for having a machine gun, okay? So that's what you're looking for. And you see the difference in the two guns. What happened is after 1982, these guns have been classified as machine guns. Like I said, the ones that were made before that date, they're legal. This is one of them. After the government classified these as machine guns, what happened is RPB ended up closing shop, and the guy that owned it, Wayne Daniels, he opened up a new company called SWD Incorporated, named after his wife at the time, rest in peace, Sylvia Williams Daniels. And they started manufacturing two guns. They started manufacturing this one, which is a full auto M11 380. They also started manufacturing a semi-auto version of the M11 9, and they called that they just call it a pistol. And the difference there is they had to redesign the gun so it has a totally different fire control group. It fires from a closed bolt and it's hammer fired. So that particular gun is much, much more difficult to convert to full auto than this one. And that was the gun that the government finally approved as a semi-automatic pistol. So if you can find one of these open bolt semi-auto pistols, if you can get a good price on it, buy it, because it's a collector's item. It's a good deal. Also, this particular gun is the same thing. This is made by a company called Interdynamic. It's a KG9. They call it the KG9. It was manufactured in Miami, Florida. It's the same thing. Open bolt semi, approved by the government, banned by the government in 1982. If you can get one of these cheap, fine. But remember, it's got to be the KG9. After this one was banned, they came up with another gun they called the KG99. And that particular gun, that one fired from a closed bolt. So totally different gun, okay? So now you know how these guns work, the semi-automatic and the full automatic, you know. And oh yeah, no, that's about it. We'll end this right now. And I wanted to thank my wife for taking this video. Thank you very much.